Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Uh, I am recording the lecture 2 class. Uh, the reason being, I had part of the lecture, I had it in the my that Beamer presentations, and part of it I have handwritten notes. So what I did, I sat and wrote down everything in handwritten style, and I will be presenting those slides. So in today's class, what we'll discuss is about force transferred uh, by the pre-tension system. So in last class, we were discussing about the concept of pre-stress, and then I introduced the concept of pre-tensioning, and then also the concept of post-tensioning in concrete. So in pre-tension, what we will do, we will apply a stress in the tensile stress in the tendon, and after the tendon, then tendon is placed in a mold, and then concrete. The stress tendon is placed in a mold, and then concrete is poured onto it. After the concrete gains strength, then we remove the stresses from the hydraulic jack on the tendon. As a result, the tendon will try to shrink, and consequently the concrete also shrinks with it, and it will be in a state of compression. So we want to analyze if suppose if we apply a hydraulic jack force of say P, and after we release the hydraulic jack force, what will be the force transfer to the concrete. So we want to know what is the compression produced in the concrete. So to do that, we'll have to analyze the system using mechanics of solids concepts. So first system we'll analyze is the concentric tendon. So in this tendon, the bar is located at the center of gravity of the cross section. And the second one is eccentric tendon. Here the bar is having a little eccentricity with respect to the center of gravity of the concrete area. So as a result, there will be some bending moment produced, and we'll analyze it maybe in the next class. I'll also introduce the concept of effective section and gross section through this during the analysis. So let's begin with the force transfer for the concentric tendon. So in force transfer for concentric tendon, we have this bar of length L. This is unstressed bar, and then what we do, we apply a force P superscript O. That is the force applied from the hydraulic jack. Because of this force, the bar will extend by a small amount, and that extension is given as epsilon naught OSL. So we can find out this extension by using the force displacement relation. So delta is equal to P naught L by EA. So EA refers to the area of steel and the Young's modulus of steel. Now what we concrete is poured onto this steel bar. So there will be bond developing between the concrete and the steel bar. And after the concrete gets sufficient strength, then we remove the force which is acting on the which is supplied by the hydraulic jack. So as a result, this composite system, that there is a force in this bar which is P superscript O, and this bar will shrink in length, and as it shrinks in length, there will be compressive stress produced in the concrete. Okay, so we can find out after the it will shrink by small amount, and this is the final state of the composite system. So in this state, the bar is having a tensile force P naught, and the compressive force in the concrete is also P naught. Both are balancing each other. So we want to find what is this P naught force, which is the compressive force in the concrete or the tensile force in this bar. So to do that, we'll look at the displacements. So first thing we'll see is the initial length of the bar is OA, and after applying the hydraulic jack force, the length is OB. And when you remove the hydraulic jack force, there is a shrinking, and the final length of the bar will be OC. So here the initial length of concrete is OB, which we denote it by this quantity by LC. Please note LC is also equal to L naught L plus epsilon naught SL. So after shrinking, the length of the concrete is reduced. So it will be LC minus epsilon C LC. So strain times the original length. So we can calculate what is the shrinking in the concrete. It is equal to the distance BC, and that is epsilon C LC. So it will be P naught LC by EA. So EA refers to the concrete. So A concrete and Young's modulus of the concrete. And we can get what is epsilon naught SL. It will be dependent on the force in the bar. So it will be P naught L by EA for the steel. So P naught L by ES AS. So we can we see that BC, the value of BC is equal to OB minus OC. Okay, so using that relation, we get BC is OB minus OC. So BC is P naught LC by AC EC, and OB is L plus epsilon naught SL minus L plus epsilon naught SL. So L and L will cancel out, and we'll have P superscript L by EA for steel minus P subscript L by EA for steel. Now we can send this P naught to the left hand side, and what we have here, we have P naught LC by EA for concrete plus P naught L by EA for steel, which is P superscript L by EA for steel. Now we take P naught by AC common, and we have LC by EC, and we'll have ACL by AS ES. And now we multiply both the left hand side and right hand side by EA steel by L. Okay, so what will happen? This term will right hand side will have only one term P naught, and on the right left hand side, when you multiply with ES AS by L, we will get this LC by L, ES by EC times AS, and this expression will be simply AC. So we can simplify this expression further. We'll assume that the initial length of the concrete and initial length of the bar, that ratio is very approximately 1. So this is one approximation we take, and ES by EC, that is, we can replace it with the modular ratio. The ratio of the modulus of velocity of steel by modulus of concrete, we will denote it by M. So that will be the modular ratio. So we get this relation P naught by AC into MAS plus AC is equal to P naught. So from that we get P naught, we can send this term to the right hand side. We get P naught by AC is equal to P superscript O by AC plus MAS. So here we can define the effective, we'll introduce a new term called the effective area. So A effective is AC plus M times AS. So if you introduce this effective area concept, then what will happen to this equation? It will be P naught by AC is equal to P superscript O by A effective. So we have the relation now between the stress in the hydraulic jar force P naught and the force which is in the concrete after transfer of force has taken place. That is P subscript O. So P subscript O by area of concrete is equal to P superscript O by area effective area. So we can find out what is the stress in steel. Sigma C is equal to P naught by AC, and that will be equal to again P superscript O by A effective. And initial stress in steel is initial force by area of steel, and final stress in steel sigma OS is final stress by area of steel. So there will be a loss of stress in steel because the steel will be shrinking, and we get the loss of stress in steel delta sigma S is sigma OS minus sigma OS, and we'll get P O minus P subscript O by AS. Okay, so we can find out what is this loss of stress in steel. So we'll substitute instead of P subscript O, we get P superscript O by A effective times AC, and we can take P naught by AS common, and we'll get 1 minus AC by A effective. So A effective is MAS plus AC. So AC and AC will cancel out in the numerator. We'll be left with MAS, and here we can simplify it further, and we get AS and AS will cancel out. We get M times P naught by A effective. So the loss of stress in the steel is M times P naught by A effective. So we already know what is P naught by A effective. It is equal to the stress in the concrete. So the loss of stress in steel delta sigma S is equal to M times sigma C. That is the stress in the concrete. So I'm just writing this small thing, stress in concrete at the level of steel. So the reason I'm doing it is when you analyze eccentric tendons, then we will be looking into the loss of stress in steel at the level of loss of stress in steel the associated stress in concrete will be corresponding to the level at which the steel is placed. Okay, so that's why I'm just writing at the level of steel. So when you do that eccentric tendons, we'll have to look carefully there. So for now, for concentric tendons, we just write delta sigma x, which is loss of stress in steel, is m times sigma c. So the final stress in steel sigma OS is initial stress, which is sigma superscript OS minus delta sigma s, which is m times sigma c. So let me introduce the concept of revise the concept of effective and gross section one more time. So we have this concrete block, and we have this tendon. When you remove the hydraulic jack force, the force in this tendon is P naught. And what will happen? This this bar will try to shrink in length, and it will reach this final length, and in the final force will be P subscript O. So if you do the analysis here, we have to do the when you are looking into the hydraulic jack force, we will be analyzing the effective section properties. So the stress in concrete we can write as P superscript O by A effective. So if we are working with the hydraulic jack force, then we can use effective section properties, and that is equal to P naught by AC. So if you are working with the gross section properties, then we have to use the force which has been transferred. So P naught by AC. So again, I am writing this because when you do the analysis for bending, we will be doing one analysis in effective section where we will have effective section properties, and another analysis where we have gross section properties, and we will have a similar relationship there. So this is regarding the effective section, A effective, which is m sigma s plus m as plus AC. So there is another way to look at this problem using our mechanics of solids concept. That is using the concept of misfit bar. Suppose we can imagine two rods made of concrete and one rod made of steel. So the length of concrete rod is L, and the total area of these two rods made of concrete, let's call it AC, and the area of this steel cross section, let's call it AS. Okay, so the length of the steel rod is L0S, which is slightly lesser than the length of the concrete rod. So what we do, this bar is, so these are two rigid plates, and these bars are held in between those two rigid plates. So what we can apply a load P naught by hydraulic jack, and we can extend this bar and attach it to this rigid plate. Okay. After attaching it to the rigid plate, the system will be independent of any external force. So what will happen after that? So what will happen after that is, because this steel is in tension, it will try to reduce in length, and when it tries to reduce in length, there will be some compressive force coming on the concrete, and as it reduces in length, the stress in the steel also will get reduced. So this is the final configuration. Okay, and in the final configuration, there is a compressive force in the concrete and there is a tensile force in the steel. Okay, so the analysis we have done previously, it's similar to this analysis. If you look carefully, what is the force which we need to apply to move this bar from this position to this position? So we need to find what is the difference in length. The difference in length, let's call it delta L superscript O, which is L minus L naught S. And we can calculate what is the applied force which you need to apply, which is K times delta L. So K is EA for steel by length times delta L. Now once we have applied that force and we have attached it to this rigid plate, and then we see what will happen to this entire system. It will be a self-equilibrating system. So this plate will move to the left, and the compressive force develops here and here, and tensile force develops here. We can draw the free body diagram for the plate here. So the plate here will have from the steel there will be a tensile force which is pulling it to the left, and from the concrete there will be a compressive force which is pushing to the right. Okay, so we can equilibrate the forces coming on this plate. We will have P naught is equal to C. So that is the equilibrium equation, and we can also get the compatibility condition. What it means is when the concrete is compressing, there is a reduction, there is a gain in compressive strain, and that will be equal to the loss in tensile strain in steel. Gain in compressive strain in concrete is equal to loss in tensile strain in steel. So let's call it this delta L naught, which is reduction in length of concrete, and that is the gain in the compression. That is the, and that is also equal to the loss in tensile strain. Okay, so we get delta L naught is CL by EA for concrete, and that is equal to P naught minus P naught, that is P superscript naught minus P subscript naught into L by EA for steel. Okay, so that is the net shrinking which is happening. So this is a compatibility condition, or you can think of it like a spring, two springs which are in parallel. So one spring will go into compression, another spring will remain in tension, but the tensile load will reduce. So the reduction in tensile load into length by ES is equal to the compressive load in concrete to L by E times AC. So we can simplify this equation further. We get we can take C by AC term out, and we can send this ES term to the right hand side. So we get ES by EC, and we have P naught by AS minus P naught by AS. And we have removed the L term. So P naught by S is sigma initial stress in the steel, and P naught by P subscript O by S is the final stress in steel, and C by AC is the stress in concrete, and ES by EC is the Maunder ratio. So we again get back the same relation. The loss of stress in steel is equal to M times the stress in concrete. Okay, so this is regarding this analysis. So we can solve a very simple problem. I have discussed this in class on that Microsoft whiteboard, but since I couldn't make the slides, I'm just repeating the problem again. So we have a pretension member of size 200 by 300 millimeters. It is pre-stressed with steel of area 500 millimeters square. The tendon is at the center of gravity of the section, and the pre-stressing applied through hydraulic jack is 1050 Newton per millimeter square. So M value is given as 6. So we are asked to compute what is the stress in concrete and steel just after transfer. So what is given here? We have a rectangular cross section of width B and height H. So B is 200, height is 300, and we have the pre-stressing strand which is provided the center of gravity of the rectangular cross section. So the area of the pre-stressing steel is 500 millimeters square. Initial stress in the pre-stressing steel is 1050. Maunder ratio is 6. So we can find out what is the area of the concrete AC, which is BH minus ABS. So so we have to subtract from the rectangular area the area of the pre-stressing steel. That will be give the area of the concrete. So 200 into 300 minus 500, so 5950 millimeters, 59,500 millimeters square. Effective area is area of concrete plus M times APS. So 5950 plus 6 times 500, so we get 62,500 millimeters square. So we can find out the initial force in the tendon, which is initial stress times the area of the steel. So it is 1050 into 500 is 52.5 525 kilonewton. So we can use our relation for the force after transfer. So force after transfer by area of concrete is equal to force before transfer, that is the hydraulic jack force by the effective area. So we have already found out AC, P naught, and A effective. So we can just substitute those values here, and we get 499.8 kilonewton. And if we divide this P naught by area of steel, we get the final stress in the steel. So sigma naught S is equal to P naught by area of steel. So we're getting 999.6 Newton per millimeter square. Okay, so we have found out what is the force which is transferred to concrete and what is the stress in the steel. So initially, when a hydraulic jack force is applying 1050 Newton per millimeter square, and because of the transfer of force, the stress in the bar is reduced. It has come to 999.6, and the actual supplied force is 52,525 kilonewton, and it has got reduced to 499.8 kilonewton. And we can find out what is this what is the stress in concrete. 499,800 divided by the area of concrete, which is 59500. So that is coming around 8.4. So there is a compressive stress of 8.4 megapascal, which is acting in concrete now. So the concrete is in a state of compression. So we can do this problem by another approach, which is like this. So we can first find what is the stress in concrete. So sigma C, we can use that formula, P naught by A effective. So we are dealing with the hydraulic jack force. So we are looking into the effective section. So P naught is 52500 or 525 kilonewton by effective area is 62,500 millimeter square. We get 8.4 Newton per millimeter square. And then we can find out what is the loss of stress in steel, delta sigma s, which is m times sigma c, which is 6 into 8.4, which is 50.4 Newton per millimeter square. So the final stress in steel will be sigma naught s is equal to sigma naught s minus delta sigma s. So 1050 minus 50.4, which is 999.6 Newton per millimeter square. So we're again getting back all the same results as the approach 1. So here we are directly calculating the stress in concrete, and then we calculate the loss of stress in steel, and then finding out what is the final state of stress in steel. So this is what we have, and we will discuss the eccentric tendons in the next further classes. Thank you.